Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. My name is Casey Vanette. I'm the officer in charge of the patrol branch here at the AbbyPD. The patrol branch includes the frontline officers, those in uniform driving marked cars that respond to calls for service each and every day. I'm here with the Chief Constable, Mike Sear, and our aim today is to provide you with a 2021 overview. In addition to looking at some of our crime stats, we're going to touch on some of the significant events that impacted our community. So Chief, 2021, very busy year again for us. How would you summarize it?
Well, once again, Casey, as you know, it was a challenging year. I mean, certainly, COVID continued to persist. We know the impacts that has on our community, but it was also really important for us to make sure we kept our department and our members safe so that they can keep our community safe and just, coming together and doing everything we can to just support one another. Likewise, we saw the heat dome that really had a significant impact in our community. The overdose crisis continues to persist here in Abbotsford. We will have our worst year on record for 2021. Sadly, and we just know how many families that impacts, but also the toll that takes on our frontline first responders who are out there every single day. And then of course none of us will ever forget the floods in November and just the impact that had. I can just tell you how incredibly proud I am of everyone here at AbbyPD to see the bravery that I saw on a daily basis in protecting the community in very dangerous situations, in seeing the hours that our staff put in to make sure that they were there for the community. Also seeing the leadership from the city, Abbotsford Fire Rescue Service, and the support we received from all the other agencies, our policing agencies, in British Columbia, who were here to support us when we needed them most. So, despite that being very difficult, despite the impact that we know so many families are still feeling out in the impacted area, it was also very heartwarming to see just how everyone came together and supported one another. And like I said, I could not be prouder of the women and men at AbbyPD.
Yeah, it's incredible when you think about our careers. I've been around 28 years. I know you've been around a little bit longer. And just to be reminded how important the work that our officers are doing and in partnership with our community.
Yeah.
It never ceases to amaze me. Just when I think, we've maybe fallen into a bit of a lull, we get reminded how excellent our community is and the hard work that our officers are doing each and every day. So moving to some of the crime stats, some of the major crimes that we track each and every year. For example, we know for the most part, property crime accounts for roughly 3/4 of all property crime. Where are we at with property crime in 2021?
Yeah, well, thanks, Casey. So last year we saw no increase in our property crime. I think what's even more important is to look at us compared to our other jurisdictions in the Fraser Valley. We still have the lowest crime rate per 1,000 population at around 33 incidents per 1,000 people. So again, for everyone in our surrounding area, that's the lowest. And that's something we're really proud of continuing to make Abbotsford the safest city in British Columbia, and we strive for that. We did see our break-and-enters go down 10% last year, which is something I'm very happy about. We know the impact break-and-enters have, both residential and commercial, on our community and the sense of well-being. So that is, I'm glad we continue over the last 4 years to see those going down. That's a positive. We saw our other property crime, theft from autos and theft from autos, stay relatively the same. One of my concerns is that, I think some of that crime is underreported, especially, some of our minor thefts. I was happy to see this year that more people are using our online reporting system to report crime. It's essential for us that people are utilizing that service so that we can use intelligence-led policing to identify where hotspots are and use our units like the Crime Reduction Unit and Patrol, who can really focus and target in on our property crime offenders. So last year we saw our calls for service go up by over 5,000, a significant number, and we saw a significant number of people, over 1,000, report online, and we really hope to see that increase and using that data to better inform our crime fighting.
Yeah, it's really important that the public understands that sometimes they're like, I'm not going to call in, or maybe it's not worth it, but I think it's important, and I think you alluded to it, Chief, that we want to encourage folks to call in because based on the information we're receiving from the public, we can deploy resources to areas that we identify as potential hotspots or areas of crime where there might be a surge of crime. By calling it in and by reporting it, of course, then we can deploy the adequate resources.
Absolutely, intelligence-led policing.
Absolutely. So, violent crime. How are we looking with violent crime in 2021?
Yeah, so I'm happy to report that in 2021 we were down 7% for our overall violent crime rate, again, per 1,000 people. And that is, again, the lowest in all of our surrounding jurisdictions. So again, something we're very proud of, something we continue to work on. Last year we had 4 homicides. Obviously, one is too many, and we're something we continue to work on in our major crime units out there and solving our most serious offenses. But none of those had a direct connection to the Lower Mainland gang conflict.
Right.
And I think that is in a response to the effort we put into addressing the gangs here in Abbotsford. So I'm very happy about that. Some of the other crime rates I think we should just speak to is we saw our sexual offense or sex crimes go up by about 9%. Sometimes people look at stats and think that that's awful, but in many cases we're happy that we're getting these reports. We're happy a lot of those are historical or persons who know each other. We had very few that were stranger type assaults. But it's something we continue with intimate partner violence, sexual assaults, is to really encourage that our community calls us and reaches out for help, because that's how we can be there to make a difference. The other one we saw are robberies go up as well. A lot of those are kind of the street level robberies or shopliftings where violence was alluded to during when they were trying to stop the offender. So that's something that our street outreach response team, our patrol teams are working on addressing some of the issues that we're seeing on the street level. But we'll continue to move forward on that, and it's one of our goals moving into 2022. Yeah,
for sure, Chief. Road safety is a topic that I get a lot of phone calls on, and I know you get a lot of phone calls on. Talk to me about road safety here in Abbotsford in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have talked, and same with our traffic unit, and we're not about just writing tickets for statistics. We're about changing behavior, our most dangerous driving behavior. One thing that's been very troubling is seeing the increase in impaired driving. I think it's in part the fact that we have so many members that are just so dedicated to ridding our streets of drug and alcohol impaired driving, and we'll continue to do that. If you're driving impaired in our community, there's a lot of eyes looking out for you. So that's number one. Number two, looking at the behaviors that are most problematic to us and most dangerous. The excessive speeding and running the red lights, and so that's where we're focusing our attention. Last year we had a slight reduction by about 1,000 tickets overall of what we wrote, but in part of everything we were managing, especially with the floods and that is understandable. But moving into 2022, we're making a very concerted effort to focus in on the most dangerous driving patterns or acts that we're seeing. We're going to be looking at youth, new drivers. And again, one of the things we talk a lot about is, the most dangerous thing that a young person will do is drive a vehicle. And sadly, we see far too many young people, badly injured or killed in traffic accidents. My son was one of them, and I never want a family member to ever go through that. And so us and Abbotsford Police Department are going to really focus on keeping everyone on our streets safe. We had 10 people die as a result of a motor vehicle incident last year. Far, far too many, and that's something we must change.
Yeah, for sure, Chief. We often say when it comes to traffic, road safety, things change in the blink of an eye, and I can't think of any other topic where that's more true. So
yeah,
I get asked a lot about our model, a strengthened community, and I thought maybe we could just close off today by hearing from you. What does strengthened community mean to you?
Yeah, I remember 3 years ago when we changed that from protecting with pride to strengthened community. And it was something that we did after John Davison passed, and we saw how this community rallied behind us and how our police partners rallied behind us and were there to support us. And time again since that, we have seen how our department supports each other, how our department supports our community, is there in their most difficult days, and likewise for us. You saw that during the floods when our community constantly was here supporting our members, offering encouragement when the days were getting difficult and very, very long. So for us, it's really in our DNA in this department. We love the connection and the relationship we have with our community, and we are very optimistic that we'll see COVID start to ease, and we can once again really get back to even further engagement and with our community.
Yeah, for sure. So strength and community. When I think about that, it's so clear to me that in order for us to achieve our goal of making Abbotsford the safest city in BC, we need our community support, and when we have that, we can, it becomes a better place to live, work, and play in.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that, Chief. Okay, well that wraps up today's session. We hope you found it informative. If there are topics you'd like us to discuss in the future, please reach out to us at abbypd.ca. Thank you.